Welcome back to this video where I'm going to take you through what's been going on with dividend payments last month in February and looking forward to March to see whether it's going to be one of those bumpers with all of those ETFs paying out. Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, hi, I'm Mark of Desperately Seeking FI. We're going to use the stock events app and we'll just go through some of the dividends. I've started using a new app that brings everything together, but I haven't quite figured out how to do all the dividend stuff. But if you want to have a quick look at GetQuinn, you can have a look at the description down below. I'll have a link to it and you can go and have a play with that for free. So these dividends are coming from all the different ISAs that I have over the past 3-4 years. It all gets pulled together at stock events, and at the moment I am getting really close to breaking that £2,000 target that I have for dividends. It's been quite a busy month, as we can see in February, with all the activity that's been going on the screen, but the ones that we are looking for are the lighter orange ones. So let's kick off with the very first stock that paid me in February, and that was British American Tobacco. It paid me a nice £29.44 for the 51 shares that I do hold within that. I have since then added a little bit more to the holding. I've added about an extra 9 shares of BATs. The price was coming down really at a 52-week low, so I decided to take advantage of that. Next one we have is Vodafone. Vodafone really has been struggling over the past year or so, as you can see on its chart. It's been picking up a little bit more recently, but it is something I am really considering whether or not I cut from the portfolio. But when it's paying nearly 11%, is it just too difficult not to keep holding on to it? In February, it paid me $15.65 for the almost 400 shares that I hold. Next we have is HMEF, so the HSBC Emerging Market ETF. This is held in an old stocks and shares ISA with InvestEngine. If you're interested, you can have a look at InvestEngine and think of signing up. I get a small kickback for that, but just remember that any money that you do invest into the stock market does carry a risk, and you may get back less money than you actually put in. I just have a very small holding in this and it paid me 72 pence. Next we have the monthly dividend player, and Realty Income paid me £25.81. Really impressed with this. I have since added a little bit more, and you will see the March payment that I'm expecting will be a little bit better than this. And then Primary Health Properties, looking at investing into things like those GP surgeries and the gateways that we have in the UK and Ireland. And Primary Health Properties paid me £25.88 for the 1,500 shares. It dipped a little bit at the end of February after their earnings calls, and I just missed out buying some of that, but I had bought in a little bit more just before the earnings call, so I've added an extra couple of hundred shares to that. So looking forward to the next payment being a little bit higher. The final payment in February was with Greencoat UK Wind. UKW is the ticker symbol there, and that was coming in at £34.30. This was my highest payment in February, but I've got a bigger one coming in March. All in all, that gave me a total for February in dividend payments of £131.80. That's sort of getting to where I want to be, getting up close to that £150 per month, and then sort of average that out, and then gradually just keep adding to that as we progress on this journey towards financial independence. If you're getting some value out of this video, I'd love it if you could think of subscribing and hitting the like button. If you want to be kept up to date with what's actually going on within my portfolio, I do have a newsletter. I've got a link down below to it, and in that I'll do a weekly sort of article, but I'll also keep you up to date with what's going on within my portfolio, what dividends have been coming in over the previous week, and what purchases have I made. And also I'll give you a little bit of a look at what kind of content I'm looking at and watching, listening to, just in case you want to go away. Have a look at that and increase your investing knowledge. So that was February. And what we do know about March is we have lots of ETFs payments, and no surprise, this will be slightly more than I got in February. First company paying me any money in March, IG Group, paying me £11.66 for the 86 shares that I hold. I also got another payment on the 1st, and that was from the pharmaceutical giant Pfizer. Everybody knows of Pfizer from the vaccines during COVID. They paid me £6.61 on the 1st of March. I bought into Pfizer when it had dipped a little at the end of last year, just looking at adding a little bit back into Pfizer and sort of grow that position over time. It pays quite a nice little dividend in around the 6% mark. Then had to wait a couple of weeks before I get my next payment, and this is the monthly dividend payer coming back in again and looking at Realty Income paying me £28.51. And if you remember back last month in February, I'd got £25.81. What I'd done was it added a few more shares to my holding, and that has paid me out an extra almost £3. UK Wind had paid me last month, and I'm also invested into the investment trust Trig, and I have just done a video looking at the two of those and comparing them against each other, and if you want to go and have a look, it'll be up in the top corner of the video. Renewable Infrastructure Group is due to pay me £20.68, and then we are into the rapid fire of all of these ETFs paying out. So you have the iShares UK Dividend ETF, and that's going to pay me £12.90. This is a little bit lower than they would normally pay me out. It bounces and changes depending on what time of the year it is as how much they pay out, and that'll be all tied into what payments have been made by each of the individual companies within that ETF. Then moving on to Vanguard's UK ETF, the VUKE, and that has paid me £22.04. Looking at the FTSE 250 ETF, paid £7.97 for the 50 shares of that. VHYL held in an old Vanguard ETF, paid me £10.40. VWRL also sitting in that old Vanguard ETF. I might move all of these, and there'll be a video coming up shortly on which investment platform I think is the best to actually invest into. There are a couple of links down below, one to InvestEngine, one to Trading 212, two platforms that I still use and will be recommending going forward for next year. VWRL paid me £5.50. VRX, the Developed Europe X UK ETF from Vanguard, paid £3.18. VFEM paid me £6.97, and that is the Vanguard Emerging Markets ETF. This one has not been doing particularly well, but actually I'm enjoying buying into something that isn't going stratospheric at the moment. The final payment of dividends in March will be coming from VUSA, Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, and that's going to pay me £34.72. That is also the largest holding that I have across all of my portfolios. I'll do a quick whistle stop through the stocks. I'll be going ex-dividend this month. I'm not going to cover off any of the ones that are actually paying me this month, because all the ETFs go ex-dividend on the 16th of the month and then pay at the end of the month, and that's just how they do it. It's normally a two-week turnaround between going ex-dividend and payment, but some of the ones that will still be going ex-dividend in the month will be Rio Tinto, the miner, and that's going to be paying a nice £33.13. That goes ex-dividend the 7th of March. Anglo American going ex-dividend on the 14th of March, and that's going to be for £9.72. British American Tobacco with a lovely payment of £35.24, going ex-dividend on the 21st. Then looking at Primary Health Properties going ex-dividend, and as you can see, I had a payment last month for 1,500 shares. This is now 1,700 shares and going to be for £29.33. Next one being Realty Income, and that's going to be for £28.44 for the 165 shares. Taylor Wimpey's been on a bit of a run recently and one of my better performing stocks within the whole portfolio. We'll wait and see whether or not the house builders continue to grow, and there's a few changes taking place within that, with a few mergers going on as well. It's going to be paying me almost £24. So that's just a quick rundown of what's going on within my portfolio, looking at the dividends and what is going to be going ex-dividend in the month of March. Why don't you go and have a look at this video, which will give you some ideas of what you might think of investing into to get some dividend payments. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.